Great, thank you. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. For those of you that met me before, you know I always say any day I get to talk about AAC is a good day. So thanks for making this a good day for me. We're excited to talk to you about AAC from the Weissman Center. Today is Augmentative and Alternative Communication Day with the Expert. I'm Jen Seale, the AAC Program Director here at Weissman. I'm going to start with a little bit of an overview to talk about our programs here at the Weissman Center, give you a brief history, introduce you to our awesome team of AAC experts here at the Weissman Center. And then I'm going to try to not take up too much time and hand it over to the main events because we've got some really great speakers to talk with you today. I would like to start conversations about AAC by talking about what AAC is. AAC is an acronym for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. It's a large spectrum of alternative forms of communication that aren't necessarily produced through speech. So oftentimes people think about high technology communication devices with AAC, but it's far more than that. It can also be sign language, gestures, pictures, symbols, and we use AAC to get information out. We also use AAC strategies to get information in. I myself am using notes and a visual schedule to keep myself on time with you today. A couple of points of housekeeping. I do have a large majority of my AAC team here today, so if you have questions that are coming up, pop those into the chat, and if I don't get to them, they'll answer them for you. And certainly, if you need points of clarification, as far as I'm concerned, you can interrupt me. I'll leave it up to the other presenters in terms of how they want to handle questions themselves. So I think it's always important when we talk about who we are, it's important to think about where we've come from. So the gentleman you see pictured here is one of the initial clients that were seen within the AAC programs at the University of Madison. And it's an interesting story, and I think it really grounds our roots here at our AAC programs at the Weissman Center. So this is Ludell Swanson. He passed away, unfortunately, in 2020, but he was one of the igniters for change that created this idea of let's think about communication through technology. So Ludell met Dr. Marlowe and Dr. Greg Vanderheiden way back probably before 1971. And when they met him, he was using a letterboard for communication, pointing to letters to spell out his messages, to communicate with people. And Dr. Marlowe and Dr. Vanderheiden at the time were graduate students in the rehabilitation engineering program here at the Weissman Center. And they thought, I wonder if there's another way that this person can communicate. So that's where the beginning of our field started to come together in terms of thinking about how communication can be supported through technology. And those early ideas started in and around 1971, which then resulted in a place being called the Trace Center, a center where people could come together to think about how engineering, computer science, disability studies, all these important aspects for individuals who use AAC could come together to support them more effectively and provide voiced output for communication, in fact. So in 1977, the Trace Center came to the Weissman Center, and that was the beginning of AAC programs being formalized here at the Weissman Center. And through the years, two programs evolved. One was the oldest one of us is the I always get the C mixed up, excuse me, the Community Development Program, Communication Development Program. And I get them mixed up because that program is something we do out in the community. And then we have the Communication Aids and Systems Clinic. And just a little bit more about our history. I have some quotes that I pulled up as I was reading through some of our archives here at the Weissman Center. And the two quotes that I have that I'll show you today are from the previous director, Julie Gamrett, who spent 33 years here at the Weissman Center performing acts of advocacy, service, and staff mentorship that really shape and help to sustain the programs, the AAC programs that we know at Weissman today. And I'm also shadowed back to the fact that we exist because of that moment when Greg Vanderheiden and Dr. Marlowe met Ludell and came up with this idea of how can we creatively problem solve to make communication easier and more effective for this individual. So I won't get too commercially here, but I think it is important to talk about the programs that we have at our Weissman Center. We have the Communication Development Program. I told you I get the C's mixed up. And that is our community service model where we go out into the community here. It's Dane County focused, and we go out and support teams and families to learn how to best support individuals who use augmentative and alternative communication. The Communication Aids and Systems Clinic is our outpatient direct service clinic. So we have people of all ages with all forms of disabilities coming in to learn about augmentative and alternative communication and hopefully get matched with systems that provide them effective and functional communication for participating in their daily lives. While Julie was here, she actually also helped come up with the idea and establish the two programs of the AAC partnership and the ECHO project. Those are our two newest programs here at the Weissman Center. The AAC partnership is a training and technical assistance project where we're looking to build capacity in community speech pathologists through mentorship, through the evaluation process. And we do that through e-learning modules. We do a collaborative evaluation with these individuals, and we provide follow-up support to students and individuals with their teams out in the community. We also have our ECHO AAC project. ECHO stands for Extension for Community Healthcare Outcomes. And our ECHO AAC project started shortly after the partnership, recognizing we could build an online community of individuals, an online community of practice where people can come together and learn about AAC from experts, much like what we're doing today, but also have an opportunity to have a discussion around things that people are experiencing in the community and doing some of that collaborative problem solving that's really foundational for augmentative and alternative communication. I do have to put a plug here. We have two more fall dates for our ECHO AAC project. And one of them is on November 9th, and that is going to be an augmented speaker coming to talk about their experience using AAC. And then we have another ECHO session happening on December 14th. And that is going to be talking about culturally responsive practices in augmentative and alternative communication. And I believe we have folks from Penn State coming to talk with us about that. Okay, and then, like I said, it's a brief history of AAC, but I think it's important to know that we're one of the longest standing AAC programs. And what AAC at the Weissman Center today, under new directorship, yours truly, I started in fall of 2021. I came here with the goal of continuing the legacy that I think Julie so eloquently states in this quote that I present for you, and that is increasing engagement in AAC with research here at the Weissman Center. And I think I don't like it when people read slides to me, but I think one of my goals is to bring back this thread of what can happen when somebody in the community connects with individuals working on a research project, and how that can really create this innovative space for doing new and meaningful work in the realm of augmentative and alternative communication. Up next, and as I said, I'm trying to be brief so that you all can get to the main event I'm really excited to hear from our speakers today, but I do want to introduce, my slide doesn't want to advance here. There we go. I do want to introduce our AAC team. We have Abby Marks. Everybody kind of contributes to all of the programs that I just outlined. And when you meet some of these folks later today, they can maybe talk more about that. We have Sarah Marshall. Those are our two probably most seasoned CASC and CDP and AAC at Weissman Center team members. And we also have Kayla, who's been here for a long time as well. She's joined us to help us with treatment sessions that we're doing for folks who have AAC. And then we have Lily, our newest clinical fellowship, and we have Teresa Castle. We have an occupational therapist in the AAC programs here at Weissman Center because interdisciplinary practices are really important to us. We also are hoping to have a few new team members join us, but I don't have their pictures because we haven't met them yet. And I would be remiss to not also include the people that help us behind the scenes. Without that army of folks at the AAC Center, we wouldn't be able to do what we're able to do. So those are our administrative staff and support staff, Amanda Ratcliffe, Tatiana Kuhn, Carol Briggs, Casey, and her scheduling team, among all of the people that I've forgotten. Forgive me. Thank you. We all do awesome work and keep up the good work. I want to thank you for joining us today here for our Day with the Experts. I'm really excited to talk about AAC. I'm excited to learn about AAC. And I have one last plug here, and that is that October is AAC Awareness Month. And we're so glad you're joining us today.